What up, everybody? BMF Season 3, Episode 9 concluded with the Red Dogs seizing the vans that Meech and T risked their lives going to Miami to get in what could have been a death trap to get these vans fixed up. The Red Dogs let Meech and T know that they didn't know them, but they knew their type. And the reason they were searching the van is because they had received an anonymous tip. And now this is a big problem because, like Meech told Terry, that was everything they had and everything that they have worked for. In addition to that, we don't know if this season is going to cause Meech and T to be in debt to their Colombian plug, Loco, also. Loco had his translator, Javier, call Meech earlier in the episode, demanding they pick up the shipment for themselves from the Miami port. T saw this as a risk, having to pick up the weight in Miami and drive it back to Atlanta themselves, what Keisha called grunt work. But Meech saw this as an opportunity to pick up their own weight and controlling the shipment from the port. But like Meech said when they impounded the vans, that clearly the Red Dogs are working with somebody. And I'm not 100% about who the Red Dogs are working with, but I'm pretty sure that they're working with Remy Ransom. We saw Remy meeting up this episode with his new number 2, Sharp, and Remy was telling Sharp with the MKs indicted that Atlanta was theirs again, but they still had Meech to worry about, and told Sharp to keep his eyes on Meech. So Sharp was most likely who betrayed Claude to Remy, because last episode Claude was telling Meech about getting the other Atlanta leaders to unite against Remy and meeting up with Meech for a peaceful conversation about an alliance with BMF at Platinum Palace. And Claude told Meech that he wasn't sure about Sharp. From what he could see, Sharp would rather unite with Remy against the MKs and BMF than form an alliance with BMF. And last episode, Techwood was raided by the Red Dogs and the MKs were ran out of Atlanta. Seeing that this benefited Remy the most, I'm now thinking that the Techwood raid wasn't just a coincidence, but Remy gave the Red Dogs the tip about the MKs also, because nobody in his crew was touched by this raid, only the MKs. So I think he snitched on Meech, because after he told Sharp to keep eyes on Meech, when Sharp reported back to Remy, he let Remy know that he saw Meech's girl who works at the salon talking about Tina and his boy talking about Duffy leaving Atlanta in vans. And Remy let Sharp know that they weren't going to let no more outsiders come into their city. So because of this conversation, it does look like it was Remy who was snitching, trying to take out the competition, because he couldn't find another way to take them out through war. Neither is his product better than theirs. So I guess Remy sees this as the only way to take back control over Atlanta. And Remy knows all about the Red Dogs because in episode 1 of this season, Remy and Claude were the first people we saw getting beat down by the Red Dogs. So it does look like Remy's now using them to his advantage. He probably had his crew keeping their eyes on the highways, and when they saw the vans getting close to Atlanta, they made the anonymous tip. We have a couple weeks till the next episode, so I'll likely touch on this topic again in the next couple weeks. But let me know who you think made the tip in the comments section. One thing also to keep in mind is that Claude might have planted a seed with Sharp before he was killed by Remy, because Sharp was also telling Remy about how Claude was saying that Meech had that pure weight coming in. And also at the end of the last episode, Meech told Remy it was only a matter of time until everybody else sees what Claude did. But right now, Meech is down bad after taking a major L at the end of the episode. So we'll have to see what Meech's next move is to get BMF back on their feet. But it does sound simple enough to just get the vans out of Impound and keep it moving. But there's a good chance that it's not going to be that easy, because the Red Dog officer warned Meech about the vans, saying, if you know like I know, you'll turn around and walk away. And also there's a chance they won't be able to get the vans back because they're under fake registrations. Keep it in mind that last episode Meech had the Atlanta mechanic put in stash box. When they tested them, they were also testing out fake IDs. And even though the car didn't check out, the fake IDs did. So there's a chance that this will cause a problem for them getting the vans back also. So if they can't get the vans back, we're going to have to see what Meech's next move is to get them back on top. Because OG Meech, the narrator, said there was no way he was going to let their story end like that. In his version of the story, he's the savior and the champion. At the end of the episode, we also saw 2 major deaths. Again, BMF taking one big win with Glock getting killed in the crossfire as the MKs were gunning for Meech. And a big loss is their childhood friend, Hoop, was gunned down by Henrietta. At the beginning of the episode, Bryant was drunk on his couch like he spent most of his time since Kevin's death, other than when he killed Henry's cousin, Tyson, even though he was drunk when he killed him also. But Bryant straight up told Jen that he killed Tyson, and when she asked about what he did with the body, Bryant told Jen that he strategically placed it. And we found out later in the episode what he meant is they found out that Tyson's body was found around the corner from Terry's restaurant. So Henry blamed T and BMF for her cousin's death, playing right into Bryant's hands. It was also confirmed this episode that the police captain is working for Blaze, as Jen saw him at Blaze and Henry's gambling spot and again had to come on to Henry so her cover wasn't blown. Then we saw the captain the second time with Blaze after they found Tyson's body, and he said something about his and Blaze's history and asked Blaze how he wanted him to handle it, and Blaze told the captain that he would handle it himself. But at the same time, it doesn't look like Blaze is going to do anything about it because he sees it as retaliation from BMF from Henry not ending the beef, but igniting things by killing Diz. And he already warned her that she doesn't want to lose another cousin. But Jen has now also planted a listening device on Henry's cane. And even though whatever they get on the wire won't be permissible in court because Brian isn't a cop no more and Jen is suspended, they will now be one step ahead of Henry, and Jen plans on turning to Councilman Emberson. There's been a big build-up for this character all season, and it does look like he'll be introduced in the season finale. As for the end of Glock, does the end of Glock mean that we've seen the last of the MKs on BMF? Because it's obvious the MKs didn't die with Glock, and they're still very strong in the Miami area, even though their Atlanta operation was wiped out. They also showed another MK leader this episode, who is most likely the leader of the Miami MK operation, possibly their main leader. But if Glock was the main leader, this guy will take over as the MK's new leader. So most likely we've seen the last of the MKs for season 3, but they could always pop back up again in the future though. The episode also concluded with T and Markeisha getting into an argument and Keisha telling T that she won't be waiting for him when they get back to Detroit. This is because T brought Keisha with him on this business trip, afraid that Keisha was going to hook up with Vince while he was gone. But when they ran into the MKs at the club, this forced Keisha and Angel to stay locked in the hotel for 2 days while Meech and T slept with the weight. Angel was fine and just happy that she and Meech was okay, but Keisha was very upset thinking she was in Miami for a vacation. So Meech and T are leaving the opposite way they arrived, with Meech leaving with Angel and T leaving without Keisha. But we already know that it's all just a game with Keisha, and her and T will likely be back together halfway through episode 10. And as T and Keisha go through their temporary breakup, it looks like Charles and Lucille will be moving forward with their divorce after Lucille told Charles she loves Maurice. This was after Lucille went to dinner with Maurice at a restaurant that had a hotel attached to it. So Maurice had one thing on his mind, but when Lucille stopped Maurice, he told Lucille he loves her and he'll wait as long as he has to. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.